Yo, what's up? Yeah, want to say shouts out to everybody out there from Seahawks Jose Rodriguez. Welcome to HD TV, Mondo Black TV, Ticket TV, The Dreamers Pro, Kwame Brown Bus Life, Kwame Brown Bus Life 2.0, and the Carceno for Life Patreon. Now, I was going to update the Patreon, but this came across and I had to address it because I don't really listen to Chris Bouchard. Really, not nothing really against him, but we used to call him Chris Retard when he was back on ESPN. And you pulled the same antics before when you was at ESPN. And I respect you for being a religious man and speaking up on your truth and your beliefs. It got you bounced from ESPN, but I admired you for speaking your truth in reality. But here's where the lines get blurred. You seem to believe, for some odd reason, that because of your station in life, you are correct or your point is more valid than anybody opinion out there based on someone else's profession or station in life. See, that's where you wrong. When you try to point out that somebody's cleaning houses and to try to, you know, make their way into the world or someone's, comfort or the and you know, reason of employment as an indication of they don't know anything about sports based on their job. Well, you're a plumber. How do you know about sports? Well, some of these people actually do know a lot about sports and they have other jobs in this world. They probably watch more games than you, and it's your profession. Get it? Because what most of you guys do is have other people who watch the game write down notes for you. They study the game. They write down keywords to what your topic is and say, well, here's some stats to help you out while you're on your show. You do some of your research, some of you do. But when you get to a certain level and you do these shows, you have people that's going to write down your hot takes or some points that you want to land home in your debate. Then you start throwing those journalistic numbers around. In the last 10 years, he's made 6 final appearances. Now, that alone puts him ahead of Kevin Durant, in my opinion. I think you can literally say he's probably top 5 on everyone's list in America. Not one person would probably have your list. So, what are you saying? See, you talk in those generalities because you say it so adamantly, people would assume that you're right because you're saying statistics. So I know the game, I know the trick, and it's a program that you seem to run. And I don't really care about your opinion, even though I think it's incorrect. The game of basketball itself dictates to me who is the best basketball player on the court. Not for that day, for a whole lifetime. I think consistently over a lifetime of playing basketball and what I've seen with my own very eyes, I can honestly sit here very confidently say that I feel that Isaiah Thomas from the Detroit Pistons was the greatest basketball player I have ever seen play the game. And that's from every aspect of the game. I don't care how many points he got. I don't care how many assists, how many steals, how many rebounds, how many championships, how many playoff appearances. I'm saying no one his size has ever done what he's done in the NBA and is still doing to this day. Nobody was more knowledgeable about the 94 feet of basketball than Isaiah Thomas. This man has not played since 1994. And since then, he's held almost every position in basketball, from coach, from general manager, to part owner, to now he's finna rebuild the Suns. Now, let's look at what you were saying earlier, because I don't want to get off what you said. You tried to use other people's analogy to say they don't know what they're talking about if they don't say LeBron James is one of the greatest players of all time or the greatest player of all time. He's got to be in the top five. Got to be. Who told you that? You know, me, I got to wash my face in the morning. I gotta brush my teeth. I gotta. Who said LeBron James gotta be in everyone's top five? At least top five. Again, generality. I don't need anyone else to justify my statement when I talk about greatest players of all time. Everyone would assume, right? Michael Jordan would at least be number two. Or if you say LeBron is at number one, you got Michael at number one. I get that all the time. When I say LeBron ain't the best, they go to attacking Michael Jordan. Not knowing I don't have Michael Jordan at number one. So they immediately assume Michael Jordan is ahead of LeBron, which he is. So is Patrick Ewing. Do you think LeBron James a better player than Patrick Ewing? Absolutely not. He's not. Is he better than Tracy McGrady? Absolutely not. LeBron isn't better than Tracy McGrady. He's not better than T-Mac. He's not better than Allen Iverson. No, he isn't. So if you want to ask me what details these factors, what make me think LeBron James isn't the best player? Chris, look at his overall game. We're saying best player in basketball. A guy who shoots about 70% or less from the free throw line. A guy who has basic handles when it comes to handling a basketball. He's about a C to a D in ball handling ability. Shooting a basketball. He has one of the worst 3-point percentages of any superstar to ever play in the NBA. One of the worst. And you say, oh, well, he shoots like 50% overall because he's doing layups and dunks or shooting 2-foot jump shots and scoring in transition. He is a slasher, is what they would say in the 80s. When they just score in transition a lot, they try to say, well, you got to keep Michael Jordan out of transition. So Michael Jordan could still hurt you in a half court game. LeBron James, if you got him in a half court game, you could control the outcome of the game. They started adding a transitional foul this year to increase scoring in the NBA. I don't hear you talk about that. I'm not saying you haven't. I haven't heard you speak on it. That added 34% more offense in the NBA. Why aren't you speaking in those generalities, in those numbers, those actual facts, and having an impact on why LeBron James could still put up points today? He's allowed to get away with more things than any other player in the league. He is not he is not judged and refed the same way as the other 449 other players in the NBA. They allow him to offensive foul. They allow him to travel. They allow him to lower his shoulder, push off. They've made all of these rules accessible to keep LeBron James in the league. He can't even get by a center. You can have a center guard LeBron James. And we're not going to go into alleged EPO allegations that was made by a former MMA UFC fighter that no one seemed to want to speak on ever. We're not even going to go down those tropes. Now, here is here's the narrative, because I want it to be really clear. You attacked people's profession as to say, to try to demean them and lower them to make yourself higher. And your co-host or your co-partner there starts saying, oh yeah, people that clean houses, and laughing. Someone's station in life should not dictate do they know sports or not. The actual knowledge of what they're saying that's coming out of their mouth details to me if they know the game or not. And they're not caught in fanboyism, such as yourself. You feel LeBron James is the greatest of all time, but how if he doesn't have the best handles? He doesn't have shooting ability, defense. He's a non factor on defense. How many all defensive teams have this guy made? Really? He was never a great defender, not even in high school. He's athleticism with no substance. He has no pull up game. He has no footwork. He has all of these things that are detracting from what you would say the greatest players of all time. That criteria that you want to put, if you say Michael Jordan, Kobe, Isaiah, look at them. Could Isaiah shoot the basketball? Could he score the basketball? In clutch situations, did he come through? Did Isaiah Thomas make his team better? Did Isaiah Thomas have the best handles? Did Isaiah Thomas come in there as a point guard battling for rebounds? His assists were up there. Decision making, playmaking ability against the very best in the league. Did he come through? What about Michael Jordan? No one could attack the rim like him, acquire 5 guys to try to stop him. 5. That's what it would take. Literally 5 guys to try to stop him. And he still would shut him down. Still would get 30, 40, 50. And he was playing defense. How can LeBron James be behind a man who, at LeBron's age right now, had 6 NBA championships, 6 NBA Finals MVP in 1 year? I'm going to tell you, in 1 year, in 1 year, excuse me, had to take a swig of Gatorade. In 1 year, Michael Jordan had the best record in the NBA. He was the scoring champion. He was All-Star MVP. He was Finals MVP. He also first team All Defense, first team All NBA, first team. All those categories. He won. In 1 season, they had the greatest season in NBA history at that time. The most wins, 72-win season. Michael Jordan was the most valuable player in anybody that season. And not only did he win all of those awards and accolades, he was top 5 in steals every year. And this is old Mike. Kobe Bryant. First team, all defense. First team, all NBA. You can't be considered the greatest of all times, Chris Bouchard, if you're not playing both sides of the ball and consistently raising up to the challenge. Kobe Bryant won a championship with less talent. He went to the NBA Finals 3 times in a row with Derek Fisher, himself, Vuacek, okay, Lamar Odom, Jordan Farmar, and Pau Gasol. Who was on the bench? Who was coming off the bench to relieve Kobe Bryant? That team won 2 NBA Finals. Went to the finals 3 years in a row. And you're going to put LeBron James over him. You're going to go look at the team LeBron led to go play the Spurs. Right? Look at Igalski's numbers. And go look at Pau Gasol numbers, Chris Brossard. Igalskis was an all-star that year. And if I'm not mistaken, Mo Williams was an all-star. Or he became an all-star later. I'm going off the top of my head, not analytics. And they didn't win a game. Not one game. because LeBron James didn't step up. He got Dwayne Wade. Chris Bosh joined him in his 20s. Joined that team that already was established all-stars to make a super team so they can go win championships. How are you going to, that automatically right there disqualifies him to being compared to what Jordan did and what Kobe did. Not to mention, he's not the caliber of player they are. Those are guys that's going to go and dog it out to get you the game. Those are the guys you can depend on down the stretch. They were special. They were extraordinary. They are beyond the barrier of numbers, Chris. And for the record, Chris, based on your salary, I've made more money than you for about 5-6 years. You've just now started to make more money than me. So congratulations on your deal and everything else. Since you want to talk about people's station in life, based on what you were getting paid at ESPN and when you first came over to Fox and all of these different details, since 2016, I was making more money than you. So since you want to put that statement out there, and there's probably others that are making what you guys make. Just because you're on television and they give you a mic, don't mean that someone's station in life means they don't know anything. And you're making so much money and saying you're blessed. Be blessed in that aspect of the what you're saying. But don't ever assume someone isn't making money or this person isn't doing a certain thing because your money is detailed. They tell us how much you're getting in your contract and you're a public figure. Now, your real estate and all that stuff you got, that's a good thing for you. You know, you're in the 7-figure club now. Congratulations. You know, much success to you there. But as far as the debate, you've already lost. You can't name a LeBron James season where he matches Michael Jordan's season. You can't name a season where LeBron James would take that team that Kobe Bryant took with Pau Gasol and go to the finals 3 times and win 2 championships. You couldn't put LeBron James on any one of those teams and they win. When this guy has literally folded in NBA finals, didn't even try to compete, shell up. I can't put that guy in the conversation of greatest players of all time. You know, I expect 20-year-olds or 22-year-olds, 23-year-olds to speak in such generalities when it comes to LeBron James. I don't get mad at them. They're supposed to think that. They grew up watching LeBron James. You know, most of these people were little kids when LeBron James was winning in Miami. Most of these people weren't born when Michael Jordan was playing, when Kobe Bryant was winning championships. They don't remember Boston and Ray Allen and all those guys. They don't remember this era. You're old enough to know better. Anybody 35 and up, 30, 32 or 33, we going to have to get an age cutoff limit because most of you should know better. But I understand this younger generation, they brainwashed you to believe LeBron because they needed to create another Michael Jordan. They needed to create another face of the league. And for LeBron's better part, he played the role. That was his best theatrical performance, is pretending to be one of the greatest players of all time. He's not even close. Seriously. All the training, he's good at keeping his body in shape and looking the part. But actually being the part, no, he isn't. He's not even a top tier player now. He's not. LeBron James doesn't impact the outcome of games anymore. He's a guy out there scoring points and layups. This last series where they got swept, how are you the first option when you're 38 and you got Anthony Davis, who's a better player than you, on the court? At this stage in his career, Anthony Davis is better than LeBron. If you don't agree with that, then I don't know what else to tell you. But shouldn't he have the ball? Shouldn't you be looking to get your first tier player that got a max contract, who's getting paid more money than you? Shouldn't he have the ball? Why does it go to basically your third option guy? LeBron James should be your third option on the court. He clearly shouldn't be your first. But hey, no, it's LeBron and AD. Okay. You want to tie your cart to a 38-year-old player who's only finna get older, who hasn't played a full season really for you guys without being banged up, hurt. And how did his surgery go, by the way? How, Chris? How did that go? You see, I hate to get worked up over stuff like this because these are the type of conversations that drive me insane. How could LeBron James be in these conversations? What has he done for the Los Angeles Lakers? Oh, they won a championship back in 2020. I know people gonna say the bubble, but that season they were like the top defensive. They were losing down the stretch that season. There was near the end of the season, and they were losing. They had just lost to Brooklyn with no KD, no Kyrie. They just lost to the Brooklyn Nets on a last second shot and a miss by the Lakers. The Clippers were peaking at that point. They were peaking. Kawhi was healthy, Paul George was healthy, and they were peaking. And they were getting ready to play. They were playing their best basketball of the season at that point. Then 4 months of no basketball. The whole world shuts down. You couldn't even go practice. You couldn't even play outside on a basketball goal. You couldn't go anywhere. But the Lakers were allowed to practice at a Lakers facility that they had to all get together, go and practice together. Till it was found out that's what they were doing, and the Lakers had to be fined. And then they started to have dinner at LeBron's when they were out there on LeBron's court playing at his house, practicing, when everyone was supposed to be isolated so that the Lakers would be in shape when they restart this season. And other teams were saying we shouldn't play. And LeBron was fighting to play because he knows, oh, we've been practicing all this time. We ready to play. While everyone else is sitting home fat, don't really want to play. don't understand what's going on and why they're playing. There was no basketball for 4 months. How can you conclude that as part of the season? And that guys were in there. It takes 2 weeks to get ready for the NBA. Are you serious? Are you serious? Then they all in quarantine and they can't leave a hotel. No one's on the road. There's no traveling. There's no lag. Everybody's in one facility. It's just not a finals. It's not. It's like a AAU tournament. So no one counts that. There's no parade. There's no celebration of it. So why do we even speak about it? Because it's the only thing y'all could try to do to try to gratify what LeBron James has done. Talking about what he brought to the Lakers. He's brought nothing but his hype and his media appearance and all his popularity in selling jerseys. That's all he is. He's market. That's it. He's just marketable because he can sell it. He can smile, he can pretend, he can make movies that don't sell, and he blames racism. No, no one likes you. That's the thing. The people who everyone believes is fans, why don't they go support his movies? Why don't they buy his shoes? Oh man, LeBron shoes, man, we got them new LeBrons. Nobody is rocking LeBrons. Where you see those at? People still want to be like Mike. They running out there to buy Jordans. He's not that guy. Now these younger generations, Steph Curry came and took over the league in 1 year. Took it from LeBron in 2015. When they won the championship, that changed the game. LeBron run was over. He was the man from 2011. He had 2012, 2013, 2014. He had about a 4 year run. It has not been his league. It's been the Steph Curry era since 2015. After 2015, it became the Steph Curry era. And he raised the bar of what the NBA is with popularity, social media, trending. All of that came from Steph's popularity. The NBA Finals was at a high peak when the Cavs and Golden State would play each other. LeBron James became the villain. Golden State became the heroes. They were the protagonists in Golden State. LeBron James was the antagonist. He was not the good guy when they played. He was considered the villain. So you're the B side. They say, well, he beat the team with the best record in the NBA that season, and they were down 3-1. Why were they down 3-1? They had to get Kevin Durant to beat him. They had to get Kevin Durant in order to beat LeBron. They were down 3-1. So it sounds like to me they didn't have to get Kevin Durant to beat LeBron James and the Cavs. It seemed like they was beating them just fine. They were up 3 games to 1. And people don't remember Draymond was ejected for game 5. Game 6 was ridiculous with calls. And Bogut, the big man, was lost for the rest of the series. Iguodala got hurt that game. And it was done. They had to go back to Golden State for game 7. And it was a whole new look team. And not to mention, Steph Curry got hurt in the playoffs where he sprained his MCL. So he couldn't guard Kyrie Irving that series. He was switching off of Kyrie Irving and Klay Thompson had to guard him a lot. And they were switching off of him all the time. And they kept trying to pick on Steph because they knew Steph was not 100% because of his knee. He couldn't move side to side. His lateral, movement was limited due to the lack of support he had on his MCL. He had an injury that was supposed to put him out for a month, 6 weeks. He was back in 2. So he wasn't Steph Curry. So Steph Curry had Kevin Love on him. He couldn't get by Kevin Love. He couldn't cross him and get to where he needed to be. Normally he would. He would have crossed him and gone off Kevin Love. But he couldn't. Now, I just want people to realize and understand that when we talk greatest of all time, we have the eye test. You can tell who's special and who's just a player. And don't tell me Isaiah Thomas will say LeBron James is number 1. Look, what other people say don't matter to me. The greatest of all time is not what you're supposed to say about yourself. It's what other people say about you. They call you that. Michael Jordan has never said he was the greatest of all time. Other people said about his game. Isaiah Thomas never said that about himself. I've never heard anybody state and say, yeah, I'm the best player of all times. Kobe Bryant has never said that. He said he wanted to be that, but he never called himself that. What has LeBron James brought to the Lakers? Last season, they were in 13th place with like 10 games to go and jumped all the way up to the 7th seed or 8th seed. Right? They came out to play in, winning one game in the play in to try to boost the popularity of that so they could go to the playoffs. They made it 2 rounds, right? And they had the most talent on their teams. If you look at the Lakers, first of all, the fact that they were able to get the players they got in a trade, that should be investigated. So it's like, let's help LeBron league once again. We got to help boost LeBron and get him up in the playoffs because that's better for us. So let's give him Vanderbilt, Beasley, and we're going to give him who did they get rid of? Russ, a team that didn't even keep him, Utah. They just traded him immediately or released him. It's crazy. Why would they do that? Why would somebody give away, oh, we got D Russ back? They were happy for about a day. Oh, we don't need Kyrie. We got D Russ. We're going to keep D Russ, man. You see how D Russ is cooking these dudes? But LeBron James is the greatest. We're talking about he needs 18, 14 different people on a team. And you want to compare this guy to the greatest players of all time? When he's had the most help of anybody of all time? Michael Jordan did it with less. Kobe did it with less. How are you going to compare? Steph Curry's did his whole career in less time. He's done LeBron James' entire career already. and he never bounced around the league. He's not out here beating his chest. The numbers are speaking for itself. That's why Steph Curry quietly is one of the richest players in the league. He's quietly more valuable to the game than LeBron James. Because LeBron James isn't aesthetically pleasing to watch. He isn't. He's just promoted to be. They show him in a fast break situation. He's getting some little dunk or whatever, and they'll replay the clip. And all these media pundits, he's got his own media entertainment team that he's putting together with Joel Embiid while he's over there right now in France begging for money because they want to get this media conglomerate going so he can push his false propaganda, excuse me, and his narratives across the entire globe. He wants everybody on this LeBron train, but people don't want to get on it. They ready to get off of it. They seen enough. They don't want no parts. Now, if you're thinking about me, I'm going to say this clearly and be done with it. LeBron James is not currently even in the discussion for best player in the league right now. Don't give me a fake stat. Don't give me he did this many assists. He did this many. I don't care. I do not care. You're not going to fool me with false numbers. Ben Simmons was damn near averaging a triple double in the NBA when he was playing for the 76ers. Ben Simmons, right? So you mean to tell me Ben Simmons, who had better numbers at that time, he was, I would say, better numbers overall from an overall standpoint, from rebounds, assists, and points. He was doing better than most of the starting point guards in the NBA. Would you say Ben Simmons was one of the best players? Now it sounds ridiculous, right? But that's how you do it when you're dealing with numbers and you're looking at a guy who's afraid to even shoot the basketball, who don't have the mental capacity to want to take the shot when it's clutch time, when it's time to step up and be that guy. They shy away from the light. So if you look at all the narratives that's out there, Chris, you will see that this is not the stratosphere you want to be in. When you want to put your observation into what's the best player of all time, it's an eye test. Oscar Robertson to me is right next to Isaiah Thomas as the best players of all time. The Big O. The Big O laid the foundation of what the point guard is in the NBA. You see what I'm saying? Isaiah Thomas did it and won what he did without another NBA top 75 player on his team. Well, they put Dennis up there now, but they based it off of what he did with the Chicago Bulls and everything else. They had early Dennis. He won those championships when Rodman was pretty much raw, young, raw talent. Rodman, once he came into his own, it was near the end of their run. He started winning Defensive Players of the Year. That was near the end of their run. And when he started to take over and be that guy, that energy base that got them going and running, that's when he was able to change the game. His impact on the game was incredible. He got David Robinson an MVP. He got Michael Jordan an MVP. So for those people who want to know his impact on a game, that's what Dennis Rodman brought. He had one of the highest win percentages of any player in the league. But look at what Isaiah was able to do. And by the way, Joe Dumars should be in the NBA top 75. Anthony Davis should not be there. Period. Now, when we start looking at, some of the greatest to ever do it or wanted to do it, but never really got a chance to close that deal, we got to look at people who are out there in the game that are determining these tropes of what is and what isn't a elite player and who is an elite player. It's so many clowns out here. They don't understand what it takes to be the greatest of all time. They don't understand what it takes to be one of the best players of all time. But we know the people that just jump off the page. LeBron didn't jump off a page ever. He's always been a guy that we want to get his confidence up so he could, feel comfortable down the stretch being that guy. And for years, they have been 20 years, they've been waiting on LeBron James to be that dog, to be that guy. You're going to be the one to take over. And he's had flashes, right? There was flashes that he was going to be something. I think 2012 was probably his best season as an individual player. And he was just jumping out of the gym. But it was pure athleticism, transition. You got 3 NBA top 75 players. To me, that took away a lot from him. It gave him the light to be able to run, and the agenda was still out there for them, and they still wasn't the best team. That team was completely flawed. And they had a bench, they had everything going for them, and Boston gave them fits because Boston can keep them in a half court set and make it really hard for them because that team really didn't have a point guard on Miami. Dwayne Wade would run the point, LeBron would run the point. They really didn't have a point guard. So they had no one really to defend Rondo, who made it very difficult for the Miami Heat defensively to be in their set. So Bosch would rotate and slide, and his defensive instincts was like he would guess and know where guys was going to be. He took a lot of slack whenever they lost, but he never got any of the credit when they won. Bosch did a very good job, along with Wade, who at that time was falling into the role of I can't do it anymore. Like I can't be '08 Wade or '09. Like my body's taking a toll. It's not gonna go back up. He was not going back up. He was done. And when LeBron made him get out of a $20 million plus deal to come help him in Cleveland, he saw Wade was done and then traded him back to Miami. And it really pissed Dwayne Wade off. You see, a lot of people who you feel probably, Chris, that a lot of LeBron criticism comes from all of the backdoor moves he does behind the scenes that people don't see. All of these things are, to me, telling. He's had all this power. It's like a spoiled child who's not really that good come in and try to change the game. Like Gilbert Arenas. Gilbert Arenas is a better all around basketball player than LeBron James. They gonna say Gilbert didn't play defense at all. No, he didn't care to. He would attempt to play defense, but that wasn't really his forte. But as far as the offensive side of the ball, Gilbert could rebound. Gilbert could shoot. He could score. Now, you could question the level of play, but LeBron James ain't going to walk out and just give it to all the top NBA players in the league. He can't do that. He never could. He's not going to walk out there and just dominate the best players in the league. That's not going to happen. He's not going to do that. And I mean, like in pickup. You're not going to see LeBron James in pickup dominate the best players in the league and just give it to them. Chris Paul just recently spoke about the Olympic trials, and they had 30 NBA players there. And they threw the ball out and let guys go, and how Gilbert was giving it to those guys. I know why Gilbert, I made the video why he didn't get picked. So I know exactly the reasoning why he didn't make it. You have so many people keep telling the same lies over and over again. And it baffles me because every time you see these levels of what these people are saying the criteria is, they always move the goalposts. And then it's another new narrative now of what makes him the greatest of all time. Oh, he scored the most points in NBA history. Well, if you play long enough, you will get there. Carmelo Anthony is in the top 10 in scoring points. Is Carmelo Anthony in the top 10 greatest players of all time? Do you feel that that's the criteria? Well, he didn't accomplish as much as LeBron. So are we bringing it back to championships? So it's points and championships. He also has the most turnovers in the history of the game. Okay, we have to look at this by ratio. If Michael Jordan played the same amount of games as LeBron James, he would have broken the record if that was his goal. He would have easily eclipsed that record if that was his goal. Michael Jordan would have had that record by leagues down the road. Okay, LeBron has passed Isaiah in assists. Like, yeah, but he got more assists than Isaiah Thomas. So he got over 9,000 assists. If you play long enough, you will get it. But did he do it in the less time as Isaiah Thomas? No. And he had the ball in his hands more than Isaiah Thomas did. His own ball percentage is higher than Isaiah Thomas, who was the point guard for the Detroit Pistons. So when Isaiah Thomas had over 9,000 assists, by the time LeBron passed him, it was like 3-4 years later. What was stopping LeBron? How does Russell Westbrook have more triple doubles than you, LeBron? You had the ball in your hands more than he did. Luka Doncic got more triple doubles than you. He's doing your career already better than you. You didn't make the playoffs in your first 3 years. He's made the playoffs in 2 out of 4 years he's played? And every year, statistically, he's gotten better numbers than you. So right now, he's on course for points, rebounds, and assists more than LeBron James at the same level when they were in their careers. Do you want to talk about Luka being better than you? Better than LeBron James as a basketball player? He's a better clutch shooter. I don't know what to tell you. I don't think he's going to play 20 years. Plus, and try to milk it like LeBron, but he's already passing his numbers. Every year he's passing LeBron. in every statistical category. So when we're gonna get real, when we're gonna drop this narrative, and when we're gonna drop this whole curtain that we got around the game, where everybody is like, shh, can't say anything. This will affect our jobs. LeBron will be mad if we say this on television. Just say what everybody knows. You can't talk about LeBron that way because of all the political pull he has in sports media. You wish you could say the truth like us. So when you try to make fun of people because they are using their outlet or using whatever they got, their phones or whatever, to speak about what they feel and what they see about the game. Some of these people, you're right, they don't know the game. But don't disqualify everyone. Don't generalize and put us all in one big pot just to try to make yourself and make your point right. Prove your point. Prove it. What makes LeBron James jump off the page? I want to know. You can come debate me anytime. I'll come debate you anytime. I want you to explain to me, Chris. The same way I ran you off of boxing and you were out your element and I ran you off ESPN talking about boxing, they had to get you off that show. You see, you never talked about boxing again because you didn't know what the hell you were talking about. You couldn't debate me on boxing, and you damn sure can't debate me here. We can have that discussion. I'm ready for it. So that's that. I want to say thank y'all for listening to me rant this morning. I just had to get that off my chest after I heard that. Shouts out to Ticket TV, the Dreamers Pro, Kwame Brown, Bus Life. Uh, Welcome to HD TV, Seahawks Jose Rodriguez's channel, Angela Stanton King's channel. You know, so many sports channels out there doing their things. Shouts out to them. And I'm out.